Welcome to Magda Koob. If you're tired of guessing, overthinking, and trying to figure out what really creates attraction, you're in the right place. Because today, you're about to understand something most people never truly learn. What if I told you that in just 3 minutes, you could create a deeper sense of connection with someone than others do after months or even years? No pickup lines, no rehearsed compliments, no pretending to be someone you're not. Just three simple shifts that quietly change the way people feel around you. And here's the surprising part. It has nothing to do with your looks, your money, or how impressive you seem on the surface. Most people believe attraction is instant. They think it's about saying the perfect thing at the perfect time. But real connection doesn't work like that. It's not loud, it's not forced, it builds in subtle, almost invisible moments that most people completely overlook. In this video, you're going to learn exactly how those moments work and how to use them naturally without pressure or overthinking. So stay with me because by the end of this, you'll see why some people effortlessly draw others in, while most are left wondering what they're doing wrong. Here's where most people get it completely wrong. They believe attraction is built on внешние things, looks, money, status, or saying something clever at the right moment. And because of that, they spend so much time trying to impress instead of trying to connect. They focus on how they appear rather than how they make someone feel. But real attraction doesn't work that way. Think about it. You've probably met people who looked great on the outside, said all the right things, and yet something felt off. There was no real connection, no comfort, no trust. And without those, attraction doesn't last. At the same time, you've likely come across someone who wasn't trying too hard, someone calm, present, and genuine. And somehow, being around them just felt easy, natural, almost magnetic. That's the difference most people miss. Attraction isn't built through perfection, it's built through emotional experience. It's about how someone feels in your presence. Do they feel seen? Do they feel heard? Do they feel comfortable being themselves around you? Because when someone feels safe and understood, something powerful happens internally. Their guard lowers, their attention shifts toward you, and connection begins to grow quietly but deeply. This is why trying too hard often backfires. When you're focused on performing, you're not fully present, and people can sense that instantly. So instead of asking, "How can I impress her?" a better question is, "How can I make her feel comfortable, understood, and valued in this moment?" That one shift changes everything. One of the biggest misunderstandings about attraction is the idea that it should happen instantly. Movies and social media often make it seem like connection is immediate. Like two people meet, sparks fly, and everything just clicks right away. But in real life, that's rarely how meaningful attraction actually works. Real connection is not a sudden explosion, it's a gradual process. Before attraction can grow, something more important needs to happen first: emotional comfort. People naturally take time to feel safe around someone new. They observe your energy, your behavior, and how you make them feel in small, subtle moments. This is where most people lose the opportunity. They rush the process. They try to create instant chemistry by talking too much, trying too hard, or forcing a connection that hasn't had time to develop yet. And instead of building attraction, they create pressure. But attraction doesn't grow under pressure. It grows in ease. When someone feels relaxed around you, when there's no need to perform, impress, or defend themselves, they begin to open up naturally. Trust starts forming quietly in the background. And once that trust is there, attraction has something real to grow on. So instead of trying to spark attraction instantly, focus on creating a space where it can develop on its own. Because the strongest connections are never rushed. They are felt, step by step, moment by moment. If there is one principle that quietly changes everything, it is this: your presence matters more than your words. Most people walk into a conversation distracted. Their mind is somewhere else, thinking about what to say next, how they're being perceived, or checking their phone every few seconds. They are physically there, but mentally absent. And even if nothing is said, that lack of presence is felt immediately, but when you are fully present, something different happens. You're not rushing, you're not performing, you're simply there, calm, focused, and aware of the moment. And that kind of attention is rare today. In a world full of distractions, giving someone your full attention feels surprisingly powerful. Presence sends a silent message. You matter right now. This moment matters. And people respond to that more than any clever line or rehearsed story. It shows up in small, simple ways. You put your phone away, not face down on the table, but out of reach. You maintain natural, relaxed eye contact. Your shoulders are loose, your posture is open, and you lean in slightly when they speak. You're not interrupting, not rushing to respond. You're genuinely taking them in. These are subtle signals, but they create a strong emotional impact. Because when someone feels that level of attention, they feel respected, they feel seen, and most importantly, they feel safe to be themselves without pressure. This is why presence is so powerful. It builds trust without effort. It's not a technique, it's a decision to slow down, to focus, and to truly engage with the person in front of you. And when you do that consistently, conversations stop feeling forced and start feeling real. Now that you understand the power of presence, the first real shift is this: change your energy, not your lines. Most people think confidence means being loud, funny, or constantly impressive, but real confidence is much quieter than that. It's not about dominating the conversation. It's about feeling comfortable within yourself, even in silence. People don't just listen to your words, they feel your energy. If you walk into a conversation feeling tense, trying too hard, or seeking approval, that energy shows up in subtle ways. Your voice may sound rushed, your body might feel stiff, your attention becomes scattered. And even if you say all the right things, something still feels off. But when your energy is calm and grounded, everything changes. You speak more slowly, you listen more naturally, you don't feel the need to fill every silence. And that calm presence creates a sense of ease for the other person. It tells them, without words, that there's no pressure here, no performance, no expectations. That's what real confidence feels like. It's not "look at me," it's "I'm comfortable being here." And that feeling is contagious. When you're relaxed, the other person starts to relax too. Their guard lowers. The conversation becomes smoother, more natural, more genuine. So instead of asking yourself, "What should I say next?" shift the focus to, "How am I showing up right now?" Take a breath. Slow down your movements. Let your tone be steady and natural. Allow pauses without rushing to fill them. Because in the end, people won't remember every word you said. But they will always remember how your presence made them feel, and that begins with your energy. The second shift is where real connection begins to deepen. Genuine curiosity. Most people enter conversations with the goal of being interesting. They want to say the right things, tell engaging stories, and leave a strong impression. But in doing that, they often miss the one thing that truly creates connection, making the other person feel interesting. Because people don't connect deeply with those who talk the most, they connect with those who listen the best. Real listening is rare, not just hearing words, but fully understanding the meaning behind them. Most people are waiting for their turn to speak. Their mind is already preparing a response while the other person is still talking. And that subtle disconnection is felt immediately. But when you slow down and truly listen, everything changes. You ask simple, thoughtful questions. Not the usual surface-level ones, but questions that invite something real. Instead of, "How was your day?" You might ask, "What's been on your mind lately?" Or "What's something that's been exciting you recently?" And then you pause. You don't rush to fill the silence. You don't interrupt. You allow space for them to think, to express, to go deeper. That space is where connection grows. When someone feels heard, their walls begin to lower naturally. They start sharing more than they planned to. Not because you said something extraordinary, but because your attention made them feel safe. This is the moment most people overlook. They think connection is built through talking more, when in reality, it's built through understanding more. Curiosity is not just a conversation technique, it's a form of respect. It shows that you value someone's thoughts, their experiences, their inner world. And when you combine curiosity with patience, something powerful happens. The conversation stops feeling like an exchange of words and starts feeling like a meaningful experience. Because at the end of the day, people may forget what you said, but they will never forget how deeply you made them feel heard. Now, here's a shift that many people overlook, yet it makes a huge difference: playfulness. Connection is not just about depth, it's also about how the interaction feels. If everything is too serious, too intense, or too structured, it can create pressure. And pressure slowly kills attraction. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel light, comfortable, and at ease. That's where playfulness comes in. It's not about trying to be a comedian or forcing jokes. It's about bringing a relaxed, easygoing energy into the conversation. A small smile, a light tease, or a playful comment can instantly change the tone. For example, instead of always responding seriously, you might occasionally add a bit of humor or gentle teasing in a respectful way. Something simple, natural, and effortless, not rehearsed or exaggerated. Playfulness shows confidence in a different way. It says, I'm comfortable enough to enjoy this moment, and that feeling is contagious. When the conversation has both depth and lightness, it becomes balanced. It doesn't feel like an interview or a performance. It feels like a shared experience. This is what makes someone enjoyable to be around. Because at the end of the day, people don't just remember deep conversations. They remember how you made them feel in those moments, relaxed, smiling, and genuinely comfortable being themselves. The final shift, and perhaps the most powerful of all, is this. Be real, not perfect, not impressive, not carefully calculated, just real. Most people walk into conversations wearing a subtle mask. They try to appear more confident than they feel, more interesting than they are, more in control than they actually are. And while that might work on the surface for a short time, it creates distance instead of connection, because people don't truly connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity. When you allow yourself to be genuine, something changes. You're no longer trying to manage every word or control every impression. You respond naturally. You speak honestly, and that honesty creates a sense of trust that can't be faked. If something genuinely makes you smile, let it show. If you feel a little nervous, it's okay to admit it in a simple, confident way. If a topic interests you, express it without holding back. These small moments of honesty make you human, and that's what people relate to. Being authentic doesn't mean oversharing or saying everything on your mind. It means aligning your words with how you truly feel instead of trying to perform. And here's the powerful part. When you drop the mask, the other person often does the same. The conversation becomes lighter, more open, more real. It shifts from two people trying to impress each other to two people actually understanding each other. That's where true connection happens, in those honest, unfiltered moments where there's no pressure to be perfect. You can talk for hours and never reach someone's heart if you're pretending, but a few minutes of real honesty can create a connection that lasts, because in a world full of filters and performances, authenticity feels rare, and rare things naturally attract attention. At this point, it's important to see the difference between surface-level conversation and real connection. Most people spend hours talking, exchanging stories, jokes, or small talk, and walk away feeling like nothing really happened. That's surface talk. It may be entertaining, but it doesn't create lasting impact or emotional attachment. Real connection, on the other hand, doesn't need long hours. It can happen in just a few minutes if the right conditions are met. Presence, curiosity, playfulness, and authenticity. In those moments, the other person feels seen, heard, and valued. Their attention is fully with you, not distracted or divided. Think about the last time someone made you feel truly understood. You didn't just remember their words, you remembered how you felt around them. That's the power of emotional connection. Here's the key takeaway. Depth always beats duration. You can have hours of surface-level chatting and create nothing meaningful. Or in a few genuine minutes, you can leave a lasting impression. When you combine presence, curiosity, playfulness, and authenticity, ordinary conversation transforms into an experience people remember. And those are the moments that quietly build trust, attraction, and respect. Understanding this contrast changes everything. It shifts the focus from trying to impress to creating meaningful experiences, and that's exactly what draws people closer naturally.